Good night, Barbados. Good night, Caribbean. Good night, the world. This is Marcia Weeks, and you are watching the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. Oh my goodness. Did you have a good day today? I trust you had a great day and you're having a great night. Yes, we are dealing with a lot of issues here in Barbados with increase in gun violence, increase in the murder rate. I mean, it's just death around us. And there are others who say, well, it's worse in Jamaica or it's worse in Guyana, it's worse in Trinidad. But we're saying, but this is our paradise here. This is what we know, and so we are seeking to preserve it. And I'm with those that say we're not going to give up. We're going to try. We're going to keep trying. Yes, and once there is life, there is hope. We can live to see another day. Another day. So guess what? We put a smile on our faces and we said, yes, we're going on and we can accomplish. We are enough. With God's help, we are going to find solutions. Yes, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, yes, I know my people. It is not the happiest of night at all. It's not the happiest of night, Bajan boy. Yes, welcome, Judy Jokes. Welcome. It says, good evening, loyal opposition. Welcome to Marcia Day, Mr. Thorne, Ferdinand, Caswell, Key, Marsha, Connie. Oh my God, Rose, Glenn. Oh, wow, wow. Let me tell you, Mr. Franklin told me today he's not totally 100%. And he told me, Marcia, he called me today, said, Marcia, I'm not going to be able to make it tonight. And of course, we miss him and we wish him all the best. It's me. Good evening, Vernon Garnes. Good evening. Oh, wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to do a moment of silence for her at the end of the national anthem this evening. We're going to do a moment of silence for this woman who was killed early this morning. Um, we are just tired, we're tired, but we keep going, we keep going. FX Trading, good evening. Erwin Nurse, good evening. CG, good evening. Nat Grand, good evening. Mystic Angel, good evening. Oh, wonderful. Jabard Darendel. Oh, good evening, good evening. Yes, opposition. So, Mystic Angel, anybody out there watch the movie Too Hot? Too Hot. Did you watch the movie today? We had a movie. We had a movie on the channel today. And if I see that you're watching, we might just put some of my old movies on. At certain times on probably Fridays we have movie Fridays. Something like that you can watch in your lunchtime. Yes. Cecilia Miller, good evening. Monica Inns, how are you doing? We're here, guys. We're in the land of the living. We're alive. We're well. Marcia, yes, Marcia says it's a sad Shabbat. Shalom. All loyal opposition sons and daughters. God is still good, and evil shall not prevail because I am not afraid. There you go. There you go. And I didn't get to read. Ramim says, greetings, loyal opposition. I watched this shambolic press conference. Oh, Lord. We're going to deal with that press conference a little later. We're going to deal with it together. And guess what I want us to do, Ramim and everybody else? I want you to call in and to share your views on the press conference. That's from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. All right. We're going to ask you to call in and to share your views. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Hi, Marcia. Yes, 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 yes. Queen B, good evening. Yes, I've liked and shared. Queen B understands the assignment. Like and share. That's what we do, guys. You've got to. If you don't do that, what happens is that if they keep reporting us as hate speech and all the things that they're doing, then we're going to go all the way down, and you're not going to be able to find us. Okay, so the more you like, the more you like. So I'm going to ask everybody, help us out, because you have some people out there, they don't want us to be on. And what they do is that they go and they report us, and they tell YouTube that we are promoting hate speech. Okay, and it's a computer that's doing it, right? And then guess what, they just start to lower us. They lower us. Okay, so you need to make sure that you like and share, so they see that people like it, right? Yeah. Jacqueline, Aline, good night. Okay, Michael Jilks, good night. Joy and Faith, good night. Yes, Tamika, good night. Jillian, Aline, good night. Yes, yes, I know we're not all very happy tonight, but we're going to make the best of it, right? Good evening, Beverly and M. Hoyt. Easy D, good evening. Good to see you, Easy D. Pauline Maynard, good evening. How are you? Yes. JW6378, good evening. Owen Hines, good. How are you? Good evening. Yes, Pete Way 36. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Listen, we're gonna do it together. We're gonna do it together. It's all about us coming together, you know. We started this journey together and we're gonna stick together. Yes, Tony Paris, we have to talk. We keep missing each other, Tony. Robert, good evening. Good evening. Paul Messiah, good evening, Paul. I hope you call in, Paul, at the end between the 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 10 to I know you had a great post on Facebook, so I'm hoping that you call and read that to us. Fabian Yard, good evening. Good evening. Kim, how are you doing, Kim? Great to have you. Diana Husbands, good evening. Angela Burke, how are you, Angela? Good evening. Rollinston Broom, good evening. Dear Pastor, good evening. I met Dear Pastor. We chatted a little bit. Cynthia Thorpe, good evening. Wonderful, wonderful people. This is it, guys. We are Barbadians and we are going through something now, but we're going to go through it together. We're going to accomplish a lot. We're going to find solutions. And even if we're not getting it from our leaders, believe me, if we come together and we put God first, we're going to find the answers. Yes? Okay, wonderful. Well, it's at this time that we have our national anthem. I believe it's a good time. And just before it comes, I'm going to ask everybody to like and to share, like and share, everybody. Please do, please do, please do. So let's stand for the playing of the national anthem. The Lord has been the people's guide for past 300 years. With him still on the people's side, we have no doubts or fears. And the question is, are we on the Lord's side? Are we trusting God? I know a lot of people have stopped, um, just being focused on God, because I'm not even talking about church, but just acknowledging God. We have gone so believe that was to our parents and our grandparents, but look at the Barbados that they gave us. And we don't need to be religious about it, but it's acknowledging even the laws. I mean, the laws came out of the Ten Commandments, and in every religion there is a form of those Ten Commandments. And so, as you know, on here, I learned to respect everybody's religion, but I believe that it's so important that we connect with faith at this time. It's so important. It's in our anthem. It's in the anthem. And I know a lot of people have been burnt, by religion, but I am not even pushing that. I'm talking about faith, where we believe in something greater. And some people say that it's inside, whatever. The point is this, that we need that right now, because and if we look inside ourselves and we start to work with each other, because that everlasting presence is in all of us. Yes, that presence is in all of us, and we just need to be able to work with each other and see it manifested. Yes. I would like for us to, as sad as it is, I think we need to take a moment of silence for this lady who died last night, this morning, was killed this morning, and for all of those persons who got killed this week alone. So if we can just take a moment of silence, please. Yes, we use this time to reflect on our own mortality, our own lives. Yeah. Reflect on this great country that we love. And we reflect on what is happening in our society and the things that we um, need to see change. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that we're weak. Yes, it's our anthem. It's in our anthem. Yes, so we trust. Yeah. Beverly Prescott says, the things I've been through lately, I trust God more every day. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. We had some new people that joined us. Yes. Yes, Kamar, I see you there. I see you there. Tamika says, Barbados was never known for so much violence every day. When I was growing up, something used to happen once in a while, but not like now. It's too much, and for such a small place. And that's what I'm saying. I've, as you know, I've lived here in Barbados longer than I've lived in Jamaica, and so I have one of my son is Barbadian, my husband is Barbadian, and so I believe that this I have all right. I saw a very weird comment there, and I just want to say to that person, please keep it civil. Keep it civil. Because what we don't understand is that we're one Caribbean, we're one Caribbean. Yeah, and let us focus on what is ahead, and put our heads and hearts together to focus on what it is that we need to get this job done. To get What do we need to get this job done? Now, those of you who are joining, I'm going to ask you to like and to share. Everybody, please like and share. Like and share. Like and share. Do that now, please. Like and share. Yes, Speedway 36. Yes, yes. I really think that we here on this program, we have seen so many persons that have been helped through this program. In fact, and so many solutions that have come from this program. And, I want to commend us as Barbadians. That's what I'm talking about. Let us stop, looking up all the time for somebody to come to rescue us. It's the same thing that we have used religion to do. You have some people who they're so religious that they will do nothing. So we have been so colonized, by our leadership, by religion, by the way we're governed, that we're always looking up like that. And all the while we have the solutions. It's like someone who just gets up and prays all the time and won't do anything, won't get up and do anything. That's what happens to a lot of us. And but we say it was, oh, we're not religious. But you know what? You put the politician in that place. You don't go to church and you're not religious and you don't read the Bible, but you're like this to the politician. You are like this to the politician. You believe more in the politician that tells you that they care about you than God, who says that he cares about you. You are like this, but then you pride yourself. Well, I'm not religious, but this is you waiting on the words of these politicians. And when they come and they guess what? They tell you what you need, what you want to hear. Yeah, they're like a man who wants a woman and tell the woman all kind of sweet nothings. And this is us. Yeah, this is us all the time looking up, Lucinda. This is what we do, Judith and Clark. We look up to them and we're waiting to hear something. And when we don't hear, what happens? We're disappointed. We're hurt. People tell you that they care. I care. Yeah, sweet lies. Sweet lies is what it is. And I'm hoping that regardless of the government, that we must always stand as a loyal opposition, regardless of the government, regardless of who is in, whatever color is in. Do you understand? Because these people here, let me bring over the shirt. These people here, they walked around and they gave out these shirts. I saw that they're giving out shirt. They're not giving out no shirt now. They're saying you're to buy it for $60. You're to buy it for $60. You know how many chickens the $60? You could probably get 2 chickens with the $60, right? You can get a chicken. You can get some rice. You can get some macaroni. You can get thing, not a whole lot, but you could probably get 2 meals out of that for 3 persons in a family. But they're selling shirts now. They're selling shirts for $60. These people, because we have the position we have placed them in. They are just like the same way you say how the pastors take their money from you. That's exactly what they're doing. You have replaced the church with a party. You have replaced God with a party. And I'm not into them thieving churches as well. I give a lot of what I give to people. As you know, I give to people. I'm not here trying to get no offering for no church, because some of them is real thieves too. But I'm saying that we went ahead, says $60. Anybody that saw the video, $60. Let me send it to Dave so that I don't even want to play to advertise it. But I want to send it to Dave. Right? But Dave, we're not going to play because we don't advertise to them. In this economy, $60. Huh? And all no, we paying them. They get all, a lot of them get rich. We're seeing that the prime minister is on the list of these richest people in the Caribbean. Huh? And she gets on a private jet and she flies and goes all over the world. Huh? And now you come again to put lies on us. You put where they're looking up on this, and we guess what? We have to pay. We gotta pay to wear this. We have to pay for the branding. We have to pay for the branding. Huh? We have to pay. You hear what she says? She want money. Huh? This is what your prime minister says. Guess what? She wants money from a group of people, from a country, from a set of people that are already suffering and cannot buy anything. This is what, listen, let me read something to you here. Poor Kurt Humphrey, is that's the one? And he can't find enough vouchers to give people, but you're going to ask people in this economy to pay $60 for a t-shirt. Listen, the person says, I'm sending this message requesting assistance for a family of 11. The family is, I cannot want to say the name of the family. The family comprises mother, father, 6 sons, 1 daughter, and a grandson. The sons are 21, 19, 17, 14, and a twin who is 12. The daughter is 16 and grandson 2, the oldest son. Right. The mother is not working and the father does some odd jobs. Okay, so the father is trying. 3 of the boys wanted shoes to attend school. The twin was given shoes, but the 14-year-old boy who has just had his last session of chemo has no shoes to attend school. So one of those children is diagnosed with cancer. Right? So he's 14-year-old and he doesn't have any shoes to go to school. 2 of the young men attend the youth service. The girl attends the Prince Trust. At present, the water has been disconnected for almost 3 months now. Almost 3 months, their water disconnected. Some days there's little food. They have no stove. They have no fridge. Water disconnected for 3 months. No stove, no fridge. They are assisted with some welfare money, but the majority has to be paid to Barbados Light and Power to keep the electricity on, since it is also in arrears. My family assists them, but we can do so much. Okay? And this is somebody that is supportive of the party. They're supportive of the party. They have reached out to Mr. Kurt Humphrey, who has promised some assistance, but it has not reached as yet. And you can't blame Kurt Humphrey in this case. There's just it has. I think he said it's quadrupled. And they're asking if anyone can offer an assistance to this family. They will be grateful. If anyone can offer the mother a job, it will also be appreciated. This family needs a stove. This family needs a fridge. I know sometimes even in our homes you have extra appliances there that you're not using. You might be working at a hotel or somewhere that they are throwing away old things. things that they're no longer using. If you have an appliance, do you have a stove? Do you have a fridge? Huh? Anybody have a stove, have a fridge? Anybody can say, listen, I will help with the water to get the running water back on. Right? Their electricity is on, but the running water is not on. The child who is 14 needs shoes, a pair of shoes to go to school. And that person, yourself, if you're listening, can you tell us the color shoes that the child needs? Because I think some schools is brown, and the size as well. What is the size shoes for this child? This child just did their chemotherapy, the last session of chemo, and they want to get back into school now. Yeah. And it's good. I'm sure they're at youth service trying to get a skill, Ramim. They're at youth service. Listen, they're in the youth service and they're trying to get a skill. It's not easy. Even people who have qualifications from university are not getting work. So these guys are getting themselves some skills so that they could work. And the father is working but is on and off. And that is how we're living. This is our situation here. The welfare is busted. And so we have to help one another. But I am saying, why at this time you're going to come now and ask people to pay $60? $60 to for what? For what? Right? Right? You said me at 4 p.m. And what are you doing? What are you doing for the people of Barbados? Flying around. You have no answers. Me at 4 p.m. Okay, you got the job. What is it? It's too much for you? Is this why you cannot stay in Barbados? It's too much for you? When all those people died, why couldn't we hear you that even the next day? You were here. I heard you were in some Spanish-speaking country on vacation. This is after you just came back from Harlem to watch a concert. Yeah? Yes? See? A better life for our people. Lies. Lies. And here it is. We're going to talk about the press conference a little later. But this here, we need to stop this worshipping of people. You have some people, they will hurt you if you say anything, right, about this prime minister. We have started this hero worshipping, looking up like this. Colonialism, people. That's how we look up to the white man, and then they come and they give us this, Christianity, and they put there a white Jesus, and we're looking up like this. And let me tell you, I'm a Christian, so don't all start writing me now. I just don't believe in no white Jesus. I want no parts of colonialism. But that's what it is. We look up to them like this. And when they have the press conferences, every now and again they come out. How we need to know what kind of assets. How are we going to know? You're the richest, one of the richest persons in the Caribbean. We want to know what assets did you have before you went into politics? And what assets do you have now? You see, and that is why they have not proclaimed the integrity bill. How did you become the one of the richest people in the Caribbean? Yeah, and now you walk in selling shirt. People can eat shirt in this economy. People go you selling shirts for $60. You should be ashamed of yourself. You really should be ashamed of yourself. Idolatry. idolatry, and then people, you have these Facebook warriors now curse you out when you speak. That's a god. You have set up a god. You have set up a monument. You've set up an idol. And it doesn't matter who goes in, who is in power. Correct. A lot of these people, correct, came to enter politics with a little something in the bank account and leave millionaires. Yes, and stop calling her auntie. Stop it. And this idol worshiping. And a lot of you pride yourself that, oh, I'm not a religious person. But you worship her though. Or when it's tearing you in your face, you can't accept it. Or when you're hungry, the hunger pains hitting you in your stomach, you can't accept it. You can't even look at the thing objectively and say something is wrong. Look at what's happening in Andrew Holness in Jamaica. An independent body is now saying to Andrew Holness, declare your assets, because the assets that you have acquired, we're going to do a show on that. The assets that you have acquired since you're in politics, it doesn't match your income. Who in Barbados can say that to this prime minister? Think about it. Think about, is there a body in Barbados that can hold her accountable? No. If you know of the body, write it down. Yeah. She said all big projects have to go through her. Right? Somebody asking here, ready to help. You know, you have so much millions. You have so much millions. Right? And look how the people here are suffering. And I must pick up my $60 to buy this. Barbados, please. Please don't let your ancestors roll over in the grave. No, there's what we're seeing there, I do not believe. I did a study on Barrow, but I don't believe that there was any other prime minister that is treating us the way that this one is treating us, and smiling and tell us that they care and tell us that it's a better life. A better life for our people. The question is, have you seen a better life? Now, things are hard on people. Now you're telling them, again, you're going to tell them you want money. You know how crass that sound? Huh? You know how crass it sound? To talk about you want money. You want money. You sound like the guys on the block. You sound like the drug dealers. You sound like the block guys. Huh? Why would you be saying that? You're a prime minister, and our economy, it's just, we are suffering in here. People are suffering. I just read there where the person, no water in our house for 3 months, no fridge, no stove, and that is a recurring situation. And you are going to be on TV talking about you want money from who? Who you want this money from? But we're going to get back to this here at the end of this program. We're going to get back to this, because we really need to look at this situation here. Okay, we need to look at this situation here. So we're gonna get back to this, but let me just put up the Dave, let's put up the flyer as we get ready. We have our first guest is going to be with us this evening, and I want you to keep liking and I want you to keep sharing. Folks, we are, when I tell you, us, the loyal opposition, all of us in Barbados, I believe that if we really get serious about this crime situation, it can be solved. I believe it. I believe it. And we have coming up on the program, there's a lady that is coming to speak with us, and I want you to give her your full attention tonight. It's not an easy thing for her. Angel Hendy, she lost two sons to gun violence. It's not a joke. And this is why we're having the solemn walk on Sunday, September 22nd at 3 p.m. We're wearing white. We're remembering those who have who we have lost. There's a solemn walk for an end to gun violence, and we're starting outside there at Freedom Park. Outside Freedom Park, and right there, next door to the old Empire Theater. That's where we're going to meet. And then we are going to head to Nelson Street and Wellington Street. September 22nd, that's on Sunday. Happens to be the same day that Janet destroyed destroyed this country years and years ago. I can't remember how many years ago. Okay, but we want you to come, we're white, and then we want you to bring some non-perishable food items, because we want to make sure the elderly in the community that they have something to eat. Yesterday, before our guest comes, let me tell you, things have changed in this beautiful country, beautiful Barbados. I've been here 26 years, never seen anything like this. An old man, very elderly man, went into a place that sells groceries and just pick up a few things and walked out. And someone sent me the picture, and I said to the person, have mercy on that man. That's out of character. We don't do that. Something has to be wrong. He just walked off the street and went and picked up a few items and walked out. A lot of our seniors are having it hard. So we want to have something for them. All right? So on Sunday, we are going to do this. Yes, Hurricane Janet was 1955. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So we're going to welcome to the Marcia Week show right now, and I want you to give her a warm welcome. And I want you to really be supportive. It's not easy for her, but I want you to give a warm welcome to Miss Angel Hendy. Welcome, Miss Hendy.
Thank you so much. Pleasant good night to everyone. Hear
Yes, yes,
me?
yes. Oh, yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. You're sticking a little bit.
I'm not, I'm not seeing your face.
Yes, because you're sticking somewhat.
Okay.
Can you
Okay.
can you
Pleasant good
hear me
night.
though?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Pleasant good night to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It's great to have you. Now we're hearing an accent there, Miss Hendy. Okay, we're hearing that accent. And where are you from? Tell the people.
I was born in Trinidad. But I lived in New York for many, 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 many years.
Yes, yes. So you've been living in New York for a long time, but you were
A
born
long
in Trinidad.
Trinidad. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And what caused you to move to Trinidad? I mean to the US.
I don't know. I just decided to take my trip. I just decided to give it up. I wanted to try something new. I love my country, but I just wanted to try something new. So I
Yes.
said, let me go to Trinidad. I mean to America and see what I could do. And it's been good so far. For since I'm here, I'm blessed. God is
Yes.
good.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, um, I know this is not easy for you, and you can, let me know the one
I'm not
questions you
hearing
don't want
you.
to answer. Okay, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, I'm hearing you
Yes,
now. Yes.
you're hearing me now. Right. I was
Yes.
saying to you that you're here because you lost two sons to
Oh,
gun
yes.
violence.
Yes. I lost my two sons, Michael Hendy and Darrell Hendy, to gun violence. Let me tell you something, Miss Lady. It's not easy. It's by the strength of God that I'm sitting here talking to you about this. It's not easy. I don't sleep. I lost a lot of weight. Everywhere, if I walk to the store, I'm crying. If I'm driving, I'm crying. If I'm walking, I'm crying. I'm home, I'm crying. It never ends. Don't mind, God bless me with four boys. Daryl and Michael is in heaven, and my other two sons is here with me, but my inside is still a little empty for my other two sons. You understand?
Yes,
It's not
yes, yes.
easy
And
at all. It's not easy at
how
all.
long ago? How long ago
A couple
did you
years.
lose them?
Daryl died probably around like about I want to say like about 10 years. Mikey died like
Mm-hmm.
about 8 years or seven. But anyhow you take it, it's still like yesterday to me.
Yes,
It's
yes,
just
yes,
like it's like it now happened. It's like it now happened. Yes, and I
yes,
still don't eat. I still don't sleep. It's just crazy. I'm going through a lot right now. So what I do, I
yes,
pray a lot. I pray a lot, and call on God to help me. Because only He could help me go through this. Nobody else can.
yes, yes, yes. And those two boys, one was 20, they were in their 20s when they
Yeah,
died.
Michael, yeah, Daryl was in his early 30s. I think it's like about 31, 32. Michael was 28, something like that. Sometimes it's so stressed that I can't even remember my kid names,
Hmm.
my children names sometimes. That's to tell you what I'm going through right now. Yes.
Yes, yes. As a parent, I was sitting down today and reading it, and I tell you, I did, it was pretty sad because I have three sons, and I really, empathize with you tonight. And there are lots of parents in Barbados as well, Miss Hendy. They have lost their children as well, their sons as well, right here in Barbados and throughout the Caribbean. It's a real issue with our black children. One of
Yeah.
them actually I read was killed in Trinidad.
Yes, Michael, I had sent him for a little vacation and he was murdered in Trinidad. And Darrell, he was going home from work and he was murdered by some guys while going home trying to help out a young lady. He stopped his car, come out trying to help this young lady, and they shot him for intervening. So let me tell you, and I sent my baby Michael for a week. He never got to come back home. So you see, yeah, that's what it is.
Hmm. Well, your last son,
My
Michael.
first son, my first son Daryl, and my last son Michael. Yes.
Hmm. And you have two more sons now.
Well, God bless me with four boys. So, like I said, I have two in heaven with Jesus, and I have two here on earth with me. And I'm grabbing them. Although they're grown, they say, Mom, as a grown man, you don't need to be calling me so many times. I say, I don't care how grown you are, it's my child. I'll call you
Yes,
5 million times a day if I want. Yeah, I need to hear the
yes,
voice every minute. So that's what I do. I call them every 5 minutes. Yeah.
yes, yes. And you pray a lot. So
Oh,
you
God,
have
I
your
pray a lot. Yes.
yes, yes. And you are a single mom.
Say it again.
You were a single mom
Yeah, I'm a
to those
single mom. I
boys.
raised my kids. Yeah, I raised my four children by myself. Yeah, by
Yes.
choice. I'm a single mom. What I'm also doing too, I'm building a memorial park and wall, not only for my two
Mhm.
sons, for all the families in the community who lost their loved ones to gun violence. I'm putting their face on a glass. The memorial park and wall is close to like 400,000. So I'm getting the people to come and build it, and so that's why I'm having fundraising dinner after fundraising dinner to try to raise the $400,000 to build this memorial park and wall, not only for my two sons, for all the families in the community all over who lost their loved ones to gun violence, and their faces will be in a glass. in each glass with everybody's face. And when they can, if we run out of glasses, it depends, then we put a brick with your loved one name on it. So that's what we're trying
Mm,
to do in the process of doing this fundraising dinner to raise money for this
to
memorial park
raise
and more.
money. Well, we do
Yes.
have people that are from Brooklyn that watch the show, and
Okay.
and they can reach out to us, and we can, give them the information because your charity is called Our Lady Charity, right?
Our Lady of Charity for the Community Inc. Yes.
Yes, yes. And tell us, I saw that you got some awards. So right now you're building the wall. You're
Yeah.
building the wall
Yeah.
for all to remember all of those young men. And actually,
Who
that's how
lost their
we got
loved
in
ones to
touch
gun
because
violence.
we're here walking on the streets. I want to show the Barbadians a parallel. We are here remembering
Yes.
those young men that died. And here is Angel being sensitive to that because she lost two sons and she's building a memorial wall in Brooklyn
Yeah.
with all the names of these young black men that died. But
And faces too.
and
Faces.
repeat, please.
And their faces and their names on the wall.
Oh, you're
Yes.
gonna put the faces of the
Yes.
children
So
and
right
their,
now the
yes.
families, some families sending me a lot of pictures who lost their loved ones. So you'll put in the faces on the walls. Yes, on the glass. In a park. Yes.
Oh wow, that is awesome. What's the name of the part that you're gonna put it up?
No, well, Parks Department told me to find a spot, which means Parks Department told me to find a spot, which is like they call it a garden. So we in process of getting a spot any day now. So I don't know exactly what area it is, but I could always let you know when it is. When I get
Yes.
the exact spot, I
Please
could always
come
let
back.
you know.
I want you to come back and tell us about it
Yes,
because I
yes,
know you're doing this in the name of your two wonderful sons, and this
yes.
is lovely. It's Our Lady of Charity Inc.
For the
In New
Our
York
Lady of Charity for the Community Inc. Yes,
for the community. I'm missing that
yes.
for Our Lady
Inc.
of Charity for the Community Inc.
Yeah,
Now
yes,
you got
ma'am.
some awards for what you have been doing because you've been busy in the community.
Yeah, because I didn't get I'm supposed to get the award, but I had to put off the I mean I'm delayed. I had to change the date.
Hello, Miss Handy. I think she dropped out. Miss Handy. I believe she will call. She'll come back in, but I want us to. You know what this does, guys? Remember, we had a Carol. CG is watching. CG, yes, she dropped out. CG did up the placards, and some of them she had pictures on it, and she did the butterfly and was very honoring the way she did it. And I keep talking about it, CG, because you really touched my heart. And here it is. This woman, she's lost her two sons, and so she's empathizing with the mothers who've lost their sons. A lot of times, what we try to do, I find that we ready to judge to say, well, you don't want to honor them because they were gunmen and they were this. But you see the pain on this mother's on her face. Can you see her countenance and how sad it is for her? And that's why we're doing this on Sunday. We are doing this on Sunday because you see, when there is pain and hurt, it begets more pain and hurt. We have to all heal as a community. Those parents have to heal too. And you see how it's causing her to heal? I think Miss Hendy's right back with us
Hello?
again.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes,
The phone keep messing up the signal. Yes.
yes, no problem. We were talking about you once you were gone, saying good things. But yes, yes, ma'am. So we are very proud of what you're doing, and we're also inspired by what you're doing. There is a lady here, and Dave can put up the information for me. And she lost her son, and so she started a foundation called the Tyrese Foundation. And I'm
Right.
going to try to see if I can connect the both of you.
Yes, of
Right.
course.
Yes, I think Dave can put it up. Yeah, probably. Yeah. So we can we'll put that up as well. But tell us about some of the other things that you do in New York.
Okay, what I do is I have a food pantry. I've been running this food pantry for 8, 9 years now. I feed close to 400 people every Saturday. The trucks from the
Wow.
city, the truck from the city, from the food bank, they bring the food to me every Friday. We put it away, and every Saturday I feed close to 400 people. Sometimes at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, people line up outside waiting for food.
Wow. And you have been doing that how long, you said? I missed
eight,
it.
9 years now. 8, 9 years
It
now I've been feeding people. Yeah.
Wow,
And
wow,
before
wow.
the food bank used to donate me food, I used to take money out my own pocket and go and feed shelters. Since my kids passed, I love doing things. I like to do things for people. I love doing things, taking care of the communities. What I also do too, I get coats donated to me, like winter coats and stuff, and I give to
Mhm.
people. And Christmas time, I get over $30,000 in toys from Toys for Tots because of my non-for-profit organization, and I go and get
Yes.
this $30,000 in toys, and I give to hospitals.
Wow.
I give Christmas parties. I do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And as you do that, you feel that healing coming to you.
Well, yeah, well, I got a vision. God tell me stop crying and go and do his work. So I'm trying not to cry so much. I'm trying, but I'm going out there and do things. I'm having this fundraising dinner, like I told you, next month, the 16th of November, because I didn't get all the tickets sold last month. So we're doing even
Yes.
now to raise like 350,000 to build a memorial park and wall. So after this
Yes.
one, next month, I'll keep doing fundraising dinners and people can donate, you know?
Yes,
So
yes. Somebody,
yeah.
somebody here is saying that Barbados needs to understand this is how change happens. And correct him. And this is what I was saying at the beginning, that here is this woman that is making a change in her environment. You understand? You heard what you said. She got $30,000 worth of toys. Some toys, some a toy company
Yes,
there,
yes,
and she's serving the community, but she didn't wait on people to start to help her. She got up and had the idea, and she got up and started to do it. And
yes.
I think that is so important. What message do you want to say to give to those mothers in the Caribbean, not just Barbados, but their mothers throughout the Caribbean who've lost their children
Just
to gun
mothers, just
violence? What do you want to
yes.
say?
I want to say, pray, pray. Prayers come first. Pray for your children. Before your little boys, should say, go to school. Check some of their backpacks. Even in America here, little kids, 10, 11, 12, going to school. They're showing you in the news with guns in the lunch bag, guns in the bag, in the school bag. Check your children backpacks. Talk to your children. I say that to say this. I lost two of my sons to gun violence, and it's not easy. Talk to your sons, young men in Barbados all over. Please put the guns down. The only thing could come out of this is nothing good. Is you going to jail for the rest of your life if you kill somebody, and the parents who lost their loved ones, you grieving and they grieving. Everybody's suffering. Please, please put your gun down. Your guns down. And parents, talk to your children. Please talk to them. It's not easy losing our loved ones. Look at me. I lost two children to gun violence. And it's by the grace of God I'm out here surviving. Talk to your children, please. Young men, put down the guns, please. You don't want to go to jail for the rest of your life, lose your girlfriend, your wife, your kids. It's not easy. Please. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. This is
Yeah.
this is a message from a mom. She's sending this throughout the Caribbean, all over. Guys, like and share.
Yes. Yes.
She's sending this all over to everybody. There's just too much killing and too much
Too
gun
much.
gun. The guns
Too
are
much.
coming in, and the
Yes.
drugs money into the Caribbean, and
Yes. Yes.
yes.
It's sad.
Okay.
But
Yes.
yes.
What else? Is there anything else that you want to say before you
No.
go, Miss
I would
Hendy?
just like to say if anybody want to donate to our cause, you know, to the Memorial Park and all that we're building for and I mean everybody in the different communities, you could just Zell it Whatever donation is a blessing from God. Every 25 cents, every penny counts. You sell it to Our Lady of Charity for the Community Inc. at gmail.com.
Yes, yes, and I have the information, and you can just send it to me, Miss Angel.
I'm
I
going to
think
send
I
it
got
to
it
you
from the
again.
other person, but just send it. And what I'm going to do, if they, once they call for it, I'm going to just send it off to them.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you,
especially
God.
those of you, though, because we can't use Zelle here. But if you're in the
Oh,
U.S.,
okay.
please help,
Thank
Miss
you.
Hendy. Please
Thank
help
you
Miss
so
Hendy
much.
to do
Thank you.
to be a blessing to these families.
Amen.
Yes, the young men are died and they're gone, but it's going to lift people's spirits.
Amen.
Okay?
Yes, amen. So thank
Yes.
you for having me. Thank you. And God bless. And I'll reach out to you again, okay?
Yes, ma'am. God bless you. Thank
I
you. And
love you.
everybody send.
I
Love you
love you. God
too.
bless. Good night.
God
Okay.
bless. Yes. Bye-bye. Bye. Wow. Oh my gosh. Folks, I tell you the truth. I didn't want to let me tell you, I thought about her coming on here. I mean, I shed a tear today just thinking about it. And she lost them in 2 years span. Families are hurting. Now, there are lots of families in Barbados that's hurting just like this lady. But you know what? Because we judge them so much, they don't come forward. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? We judge the families of these young men that are shot and killed. We judge them a lot. And a lot of them, they're not going to come forward. They're not going to say it was my son, you see, because they don't feel proud of it. But they're hurting. And not just them, but the family members, the cousins and the aunts and the uncles, they're hurting as well. And that's why we're doing what we do, what we're doing. We're bringing healing to the communities. That's what happens. And we're humanizing them. Because as I say, if we can't feel it, if we can't move from the head to the heart, we're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to sit down in a boardroom and we're going to come up with ideas, but it hasn't touched us yet. Do you see how passionate this woman is? Because it touched her, two sons. When you come out on the walk and you decide you hold one of those placards and the name is on it, you can't tell me that it doesn't do something to your heart. It does. Yes, that is pretty sad. Yes, Kamar. Yes, we need to go back to faith. Include faith. I'm not trying to tell anybody that no, you're going to be wearing, you can't do this, can't do, but acknowledge God now. Go back to how we started. Let's look at this little prayer that these guys were prayed. Go ahead, Dave.
Father God, we gather here today before each individual here goes to school. And we ask that as they journey to school, that you safeguard their lives, that you secure their lives, and that you get them to school safely. We pray that as they're in school, that they will learn something. And as they left school to journey to their households and to their mothers and fathers, that you protect them. Father God, we can see that there's an upsurgence in violence in our nation. And if we look at the statistics, the youth is who committing these serious crimes. So we believe, Lord, that our grandparents and parents are not the persons to heal this nation. We can't ask them to go to church and pray for their children because one praying for five. Yes, we know you're almighty and we know you're all knowing. We know that you can answer one prayer, but let us pray for ourselves. Let us heal this nation ourselves. That is our brethren and our families and our relatives that are involved in these violence. I pray, Lord, that you help us and that you eradicate violence completely and that you heal this nation from what is going on. Amen. Amen.
Amen. This is St. Leonard School, I believe. This is how I'm telling you, it's affecting the young people, you know. The young people tell me that they're afraid. You heard Shaquani Hunt was on, Miss Shaquani Hunt was on, and she said, guess what? The guys on the blocks, they too are afraid because they don't have not everybody has guns. So those children are afraid too. Those young men are afraid. I want to ask all of us here, how many of you pray with your children before they go to bed at night? How many of you pray with them before they leave? That's not being religious, you know. That's how we grew up. So how we want to change the way we grew up, right? We want to change the way how we grew up, but then we want to have the same results that our parents had. You see what I mean? Do you hear this mom that lost her two sons talking about how she's telling parents, pray over your children? Why somebody told us that it's weak to pray. You understand? And that, but remember, there are different religions, you know. I am one, and I know I get people write me about it. They feel like I must only push one thing. No, I would never do that because I am for the entire Barbados. I represent. When I come on here, this is it. This is it. This is what I am pushing. This. It's it. And I respect people. My good friend Lumumba, who is, I think he's on here. How did you think that lady got on here tonight? Through him. He's a Rastafari. Lumumba is who made that connection. Bongo Lights movie was shown right here on the channel at 12:30 today. We have to go back. We have to go back. It doesn't mean that you have to be going to church every Sunday and so on. You understand? But center yourselves. Come on, guys. Center yourselves. We didn't make ourselves. Whatever you want to, however you want to do it. And stop worshiping people. Stop worshiping politicians. Stop worshiping a party. Can't help us. Look at what is happening now. Right? Look at what is happening now. You think that cannot help us? Yes. It's about country. Right? Look at what we saw yesterday at that press conference. A lot of people so disappointed because we are like this. We keep looking up. We're looking up. We should be looking in. Somebody says, I love my granddaughter and niece before they go to school on morning and on evenings when they come home. Yes. Yes, the leader of El Salvador. I remember watching that when they didn't know what else to do, they decided to pray, right? Yes, and I was at for those of you who are faith, whether you're Muslim, Hindu, Rastafari, Christian, or whomever, I was at a constitutional reform meeting when they had a town hall meetings, and you know that they were there. There were people there along, being propped up by what's the name of the one that they removed him from Starcom? Peter, excuse me? Peter Wickham, advocating, Peter Wickham, advocating for a secular society. Where are they now with the solutions of what is going on? when he did not grow up in a secular society. But now he wants a secular society. A secular society means that there's no reference to God, no religion, no faith, no nothing. And he, Peter Wickham, with a group of young people following him, and they came and made a presentation. They want God, the word God, removed out of the Constitution. Huh? Where are they now? People are getting killed. There's bloodshed, all kinds of things. Where are they now? Huh? When we were walking on Nelson Street, you think anybody going to refuse any prayers from us? They're not going to refuse a prayer. But we tell ourselves we are too big to worship God. We are too big to, but we will, this is what we will worship. We build up a shrine with this here. Idolatry. Idolatry. Idolatry, Barbados. Whatever the shirt is, whatever the color, but this is what, no, this is the brand that you're paying $60 for. Yeah? $60 for a shirt. For what? When people want food. You see how inconsiderate they are? And that's it. She said, she did her hands like this. She wants money. Yeah, play the clip there for me, Dave. Thank you.
We have laws that govern tints on vehicles. They don't govern and don't allow dark tints. It must stop. And the government has set a target date that no later than the 14th of October, persons who are not having tints that are compliant, in other words, the light tint, will be fined. They're not interested in prosecuting nobody. They tell the agency already, I want money. I want money.
You heard that because somebody was saying that. Did she say that? That's I find that to be. How did you? Let me hear from you guys.
I want money.
How did you find that? How did you find that? You were at home and listening to that? She wants money. And we could tell because of all the borrowing. She has already just said what it's all about. And we could see it. She wants money. And I keep saying that if the money was helping us to make money, then you can understand it. Right? If the money was helping us to make money, I could understand it, you know. And since I came here, people always said that this woman loves money. Do you remember that when they moved her as leader of the opposition? Go back and read the newspapers. The allegation was that when Owen Arthur and them came back, all the money was leaked out. The money was gone out of the treasury of the BLP. That's the allegation. That was one of the reasons that they wanted to move her out. Because she does not understand money and how to spend money. I read that myself. The money was gone out of the coffers. This is like you give a rich kid. It's a rich kid that we give a rich kid this place to run. A rich kid. Don't know how to band the belly. Don't know how to do without. You want money. To do what, madam? What have you done for us lately? That's what I noticed. No sense of remorse or caring in our voice. It's almost like it was funny. You sound like a drug dealer. You don't sound like a prime minister. You sound like a drug dealer. And that is why I said the same thing, CG. And that, the thing about it is that this is when you talk to the guys on the block, they will tell you that, listen, ma'am, we need money. We need money. And that's what she is saying. That's what she is saying. And want money from a people who I just read and showed you that they cannot find. They are trying to find food, no running water. Huh? No running water, all the money that you have collected. And people are in here suffering like that. An old man is stealing. An old man steal. Let me see. I'm not seeing my guest who is supposed to come in. We're supposed to have Grateful Call supposed to come in, and I'm not seeing him. I don't know if Dave can give him a call for me, but I'm not seeing him. Listen, Lumumba, come in, man. Come in and talk with me, Lumumba. Lumumba, I'm sending, I'm sending you the link, Lumumba, and I need you to come in if you can. I know that it's Friday and your shop might be very, very busy. Those of you who are just joining me, Mr. Caswell Franklin is not, wasn't able to join tonight. He called me today to let you know he's not going to be able to join tonight, okay? But listen, folks, we must do better. We must love ourselves a bit better. Right? Right? We must love ourselves a little better to allow this kind of thing to happen. And they know they're getting ready again to give us Kool-Aid to drink made with brown water. Look at the water that's coming in St. Lucie. At least this time a notice was sent out, so you need to give the Barbados Water Authority kudos to that. They sent out a notice, but still, what are they going to do? They campaigned against this. When they were campaigning, they talk about the water, right? And they still look at the water coming out of the tap. As the caption said, the people of St. Lucie said they want this dark tint removed too. All the money you've borrowed, madam, where is it? What have you done with it? Our lives have not been improved. Look at the hospital. There's a horror story of a hospital where somebody lost their child. People sleeping on the hospital floor. At least if we had a new hospital, you could say, man, but she's using the money to do this. You know, if our police was getting more money and she increased their salary and so on, they said, well, you understand. If we had, everybody had indoor toilets and they remove all the pit toilets in Barbados, then you give her a pass. You had to give her a pass so that if we open our taps and we were getting clean running water in our taps, then we would say, yes, madam. We will give you the more money, but we are more taxed. Barbadians, we're more taxed than any other under any other administration. This administration is taking more taxes from us than anybody else. People are paying for sewage tax, and they don't have any. There's no reason for them to do that, to be paying that tax. And now you are ready. You are ready now for us to run behind this. Barbados, no. Yes, this is what they said, Jacqueline. And I'm saying, Barbadians, no. We're too smart for this, regardless of the party. Let me tell you, see, Miss Adriel Brathwaite was on. He and I had it out. It's just because I didn't have this show, and you didn't know about me, and you didn't hear what I. Because when people say, "Oh, you're only criticizing the BLP," really, ask those that were in office when with the DLP. Ask Adriel Brathwaite. Yes, they tell us about running water to every household, lowering the cost of living, reducing taxes, integrity and transparency legislation, that they were going to call a referendum, right? All of those things for the Republic, and everything. This woman has failed. The same way she failed when she was a Minister of Education. She failed. EduTech was a failure. Was a good idea, but not executed. At the end of it, they did not know where the money went. It was the same Mia Motley. It was her that you are saying is so bright and so intelligent. So why EduTech did not fail, did not prosper, did not succeed? When she was Attorney General, what happened? Riots in the prison. I want you to name me one successful thing that she has done. She was advocating to put condoms in the prison. This crime and violence, increase in the crime and violence, I keep saying it and I will repeat it. If you heard it already, well, so be it. But let me tell you something. The criminals were happy when she was going into power. They were happy. Those who were in jail said that they're going to get out quick. Yes? Do your research and you will find out they were very happy. So I don't know why did we expect something different to happen. I want you to name me the success, right? Right? The success. Putting on feds. That's what you are, the Prime Minister of feds and walk up. So that we will forget our troubles. Right? The hospital is a big fail. A big fail. You couldn't even get the schools right. And now you come and tell us you want money. You want money to do what? From whom? What kind? It's almost like, when you're watching those or reading those books way back in the day where you had these wicked rulers who used to trample on the people, trample on the peasants. Huh? Are you a slave driver? Are you a massa? That you're going to come and tell us that you want more money to inflict more economic pain on the people of Barbados. Unacceptable. And that's why we, the people, don't wait on people. Don't wait. We, the loyal opposition, we will rise up and say no more. Your eyes wide open. You understand? When they have the feds, don't go. When they're giving out the free food, don't take it. You're not that hungry. Don't take the things. because somehow they feel like you are indebted to them. Yeah. Listen, this is another thing that I want to talk about here. And those of you who know me know I believe that race is a construct. I don't believe in race. I know there are ethnic groups. Okay? And when you look and you see the number of young men that have died in this country, okay, from guns, they all look like me. They look like me. They look like you. Though they could be our children, right? We don't see one white child. We don't see an Indian child. There are quite a few Indians living here. In fact, a lot of them live in town, in some of the toughest areas. Well, I won't mention the Chinese because we don't have that many here, right? But it's mainly Indian. We don't see any Indian, we don't see any whites. It's just us, our children. Now, here's the thing about it. Another thing, and I know I'm ready for the letters and everything, but I'm going to say something on here now because I have to speak the truth. When I speak to the young men, you know what they tell me? They say, ma'am, we know, everybody knows who's bringing in the guns. I said, what do you mean? They said, yes, ma'am, everybody knows. I met a young man, he was Indian guy. I met him in the park. And you know what he told me? He's Indian. And he told me that it is his people are a big part of bringing in the guns in the country. Indian community, is that true? Those of you who are leaders in the Indian community, do you understand that that is what the people believe? I want to ask you, is it true? That Indian young man that said to me, from that was before I was doing shows like this, he says, I want to come on your show. And you know what? I didn't take the number. I should have taken the number. They said that the Indian community is who is bringing in the guns. That's what the Indian guy said to me. I don't know if it's true. And I'm not here trying to class everybody. I have a very good friend, Miss that owns a hotel. Oh goodness, Miss Ram. I'm forgetting everybody. Miss Ram. I'm telling you, Miss Ram is my friend, and I know Miss Ram is not involved in any kind of illegal activities, bringing in all these things. So it's not all Indians. You understand what I'm saying? I do not believe that. Just like when they try to say black people are criminals, we know that it's not true. It's not everybody. You understand? And we are not all on the blocks. We know that. I am saying there are some Indian, it is being alleged that some of the Indian businessmen are those that are bringing in the guns inside of the shipment in Barbados. Is that true? I don't know. Indian businessmen, is that true? Can you come up and can you explain that, talk to us about that? Because that's the thinking. Wonderful people. We know you as law-abiding citizens. You are business people in the country. That's what we know you as. But is it true? This is my number, 236-7000. 2, 3, 6, 7,000. We want to know, is it true? And we're asking the authorities of Barbados. We're asking the authorities of Barbados, can you look into that, please? We need to look into every nook and cranny. We need to go into everything and look to find out what is happening. We can't stay far. And so if we're serious, let's go to the source. If it is not the source, then go looking somewhere else. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that is fair. If it is that we are very serious about this gun violence situation, we have to look at the source. So I am only asking a question tonight because I don't know if it is so. This is what, when I speak with the young men, this is what they tell me. You understand? So I want to know, we have some very good business people in Barbados, Indian people. Thank God for Miss Ram. Miss Ram, I know some of you want to tell off Miss Ram and you don't like Miss Ram. Miss Ram has given a lot of people jobs in this country. A lot of people, they say the first job was at Miss Ram. And you see what the government is doing to her now. We have some very, very good Indian people, good Muslim people, Indian people in Barbados. I know them. Some who come in my community and they sell with the vans and so on. But are there people within that community that's supplying it? Because that we are asking the government, because since they might not know, and I know some of them listen to the program, can you look into that situation, please? Can you check the port to see what is happening there? Yeah. And as I said, they're good businessmen. I know somebody's gonna write me, but I have to talk. We say we're gonna look at it. We need to look at it. Look at it. It can't be just our little black children that you have in handcuffs and their face plastered over. No, it can't be. It can't be just them. It can't be just them. It can't be. And if we're serious about it, let us put everything out there and let us put everything out there and discuss it. It can't be just them. And yes, they're very good, businessmen, from all ethnic groups. Good business, black people, business good. And you have been white and you have Indian. But I'm asking, can somebody check that, please? Because every time I speak to someone on the block, that's what they tell me. Are they telling lies? Somebody check into that for me, please. Okay. Folks, we're going to have... Yeah, somebody's saying that the containers, and that's I'm going to check. I heard that there's an 80-20 rule. Somebody sent me that. Let me see if I find that. 80-20 rule. Can anybody tell me? One second, please. Okay, my guest who didn't come and thing. Okay. Yeah, I love Indian food too. I have no problem, but I'm asking because that is what you hear on the street. And I told you an Indian young man told me that. So, and not just him, but anytime I speak to young people, they tell me that. And so I know the government, they listen to this program, and I'm asking them kindly on behalf of all of us, can you look into that? It might not be so, but can you please look into that as well? Right? You got to get to the source of things. Well, my I'm hearing from Grateful Cole here. He had some issues dealing with, and his phone went dead and he's charging. Okay, but I have someone here with me, Mr. Clive Jordan, and we are talking about all the crime that's happening in Barbados. We're talking about what's happening on the streets in Barbados. And but we're also talking about hope. And tonight we talked a lot about the faith factor. And we talked about, getting those children praying again, etc. And to see, what we might be able to salvage what's going on. Well, here is a man that is coming to talk to us about hope. And he's Mr. Clive Jordan. Good night, sir.
Good night. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I am doing well. Good night and welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, yes, it was wonderful. Well, I have to tell the people this story why you're here. I went into Nelson Street, viewers, and there is a gentleman there, and his name is Brown Skin. And brown skin, whenever I go, whenever I go, he's always near to the church. And he helps out at the church when, because when we went in with the barrels of the food, he was the one who opened the church and so on. And he was sitting down there, with a spliff in his hand the last time I went, on the outside of the church, and sitting down. And I was with Pastor Steve Skeet. And Pastor Steve Skeet said to him, "Do you know Clive Jordan?" And he said, "Yes, yes, yes." And he got really excited, Clive. He said he knew you. And he remembered when you were all around there, and now, you're not there anymore. And so I said to Steve, I said, "Who is Clive?" When we walked away. And he said, Clive was one of those guys, who used to sit down right there with them. And Clive is now a businessman and his life is totally changed. And I said to Steve, Steve, you've got to bring him on. Get him on the show. I want to talk to Clive. Well, sir, I am so happy that you're on tonight. And I want to let's start at the beginning. Are you Barbadian?
I am.
Born and bred
Yes,
in Barbados.
Yep. Yep.
Did you travel? Did you study outside of Barbados? Did you leave Barbados
Yes,
anytime?
I studied in Canada.
You studied in Canada.
Yeah.
And so how long were you in Canada for?
About probably high school, a little after. Probably about 18, 19 years, somewhere around there.
So you were in Canada for about 19 years.
Yep.
Wow. Wow, that's a long time. You studied and then decided to stay.
Yep. I was there with my aunts. And yeah.
Yes, yes. And so you came back to Barbados, and tell me what happened when you came back to Barbados.
I came back here. With my wife, my first wife, my children, and I was actually a chef back then. So I came back. Got a job at one of the restaurants here, which was a pretty decent restaurant at the time, a restaurant called the Carambola. And I started my journey in food, which is what I did. I was doing in Canada as well. And but I was already into drugs, but away from drugs. But then I was always trying to run and hide, trying to figure out how to not use drugs. So I figured I would have been okay. And I came here and I was okay for like probably the first year or a little over a year.
So Clive, before you go any further, so you said so you started using drugs in Canada.
Yep.
Okay. So you started, what age did you start?
I had to be about 20.
About 20.
When I first started experimenting with drugs.
And how and the reason I'm asking this, I want parents who are listening and those who are, you know, listening, because some people out there are also you know, struggling with it. And what we have seen is that there's a connection between crime, drugs and crime. It's like they, you know, they kind of
Yeah,
related,
yeah.
right? So we're looking at some of the root causes. So so you started at 20.
Well, and I started experimenting with cocaine at about 20, but prior to cocaine, when I was in school, it was normal for back then. There was marijuana, but kids we didn't smoke marijuana. There was something called hash,
Mm-hmm.
which came off of weed, and oil, the weed oil which came off of weed. And as children, that's what we tried. We kind of experimented with that. You know, our parents were pretty much all business people, and like my dad would be in the office and stuff. And when we go home for lunch, and we would go and we would experiment with weed, or not weed, with hash or oil.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it really started. But I never really liked weed. I never really liked alcohol or anything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
those things never. I was never really want. I did mostly did those things just to fit in with my friends. I didn't like them,
Mm-hmm.
so they weren't something that I really wanted to do. So, um, but then later on in life, like I said, about 20, a guy that I knew, 20 or maybe a little older than 20, a guy that I knew told me to try cocaine. It was just like smoking a joint. And I thought, you know what, I smoked a joint before. It wasn't, and because it wasn't like sniffing or anything, he had it in a cigarette, right? So he said, try it. It's just like smoking a joint. And I tried it, and that was it. Like I was almost instantly always wanting more of the stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so that happened in Canada, and you said that you were involved, but you were not really, you know, you didn't, you were not engulfed in it completely while you were in Canada. You were working as a chef.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you came back to Barbados, and so why, when you came here, you were still on, you know, you're still taking drugs, but not, you know.
Well, yeah, when I came here, I was away from drugs probably. I stayed away for like the first year and a little over a year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember my cousin had a restaurant, and I left the restaurant that I worked for a couple of days to come and help him with his, because he wanted to start doing dining at night, because he
Mm-hmm.
was doing the only lunch. So I went there to help him out, and then I would lock up at nighttime, and I would
Yeah.
drive some of the staff home. And this, because sometimes by the time we shut down and everything, buses aren't running. So this particular night, I decided to drop the guys, and the guys that were with me, some of them lived in the Bayland. So we were driving along Bay Street, and there was a club on Bay Street called Copacabana, which I,
Yes.
I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about, or the area or anything. But the guys said to me they want to stop at Copacabana and play a couple of games of pool and have a drink. So they started that, and then I started to drink and started to get too much, because I didn't understand that the cocaine addiction and alcohol goes together.
Wow.
Doesn't matter that you're not an alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
but if you are a drug addict and you decide you want to drink, right, it unleashes that thing inside of you that overtakes you for the drug. And I didn't realize that. Didn't realize
Okay.
that. So this is where brown skin comes in, because I I went, I dropped the guys off, and there was this overwhelming feeling for drugs inside of me, but I did not have a clue where to find drugs. So, and somebody always told me, I knew I was close to Nelson Street. And when I came, somebody said, it, you know, anything that you want that's not the best you could find in Nelson Street. So I knew I was close there. So I just started driving around looking for the stuff. And I
And you
drove.
were just asking people if they had cocaine?
Well, I actually didn't ask. What I did, I was driving, looking for people, looking to see what I could, who I could see, because you know what a drug addict looked like. But
Ah,
then I pulled up from St. Ambrose Church, coming up from the
yes.
hospital, coming up from the hospital side. When I pulled up, and I took the left, and I looked, I saw guys smoking cocaine on drug pipes, and I knew that that's where I could get drugs, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about what, and I'm a pretty big guy. So when I got out of the car and asked the guys if I could have some, where I can find some drugs, the guy said to me, "You're police," and I said no, I just want to get high, you know. And there was brown skin, another guy there who was passed, and
And just so that people know, brown skin, we met brown skin there. Brown skin is still there, guys. I saw him there last week, Friday, when I went there. And so you met brown skin there how many years ago?
oh God, I've been clean for 13. That is probably about 24, probably about 23, 24 years ago.
23, 24 years. He met brown skin right there.
Yeah.
And I went there Friday, and brown skin is still there. But continue, please.
Yeah. So I started there. I actually started smoking, and it became uncontrollable. So I I didn't go home. I just I had money, so I just kept smoking, and I mean days and days went by, and I'm now high. I'm paranoid. I don't want to see anybody. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to see anybody, and
So
oh,
wait a minute, Clive. So, but your wife, you came down to Barbados with your wife and children. You had
I
children at
no
that
no
time?
no by this my children were finishing school to come down, so they weren't quite here yet. So
So
this
you were
happened.
just with your wife.
Yeah, this happened right before the kids came. Yeah, so now I am in this place. They took me to a place in the Ivy where people at the time people were smoking drugs, and I sat in that house, and the house was actually right in the back of where the phone company is. Yeah, the wall for the phone company is right like directly up in the back. So there's no back exit. So I was there for literally days, and then someone came to me, and someone said, "Do you know that your face is all over the newspaper and the TV?" I said, "Why?" They said they have yours missing. So I my family, because I hadn't spoken to my family for days, I hadn't gone home or anything. They just assumed something happened to me. So they reported me as missing. So after that, I figured I could quit. Didn't work. I got away from it, went back to work. A few weeks later, I'm smoking again. And that was the cycle. That was the cycle for like the next 8, 10 years. Just going, going, going. You know, in that time my children came, and it got to a point where I realized that my life was so unmanageable. I literally had to let my family go, admit that I couldn't do it, and let them go. And it was for me, it was like the hardest thing that I ever had to do. Yeah, to watch them get on a plane, and then look up in the sky and say, God, what am I going to do? You know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I cannot leave here in the condition that I'm in. because wherever I go, this is going to happen again. I'm just going to keep smoking. So I, I stayed. I remember I had an awakening, and I got in trouble for an apparatus, for a drug pipe. I got in trouble for one of those with the police, and that's when the people that I worked for found out, really found out about my
So
drug
when
use.
you say you got in trouble for that, is it that you went to jail?
I got arrested for one, for an apparatus.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got arrested for an apparatus, and then actually the person that I worked for, at the restaurant owner came and got me, because by this, him and I were really close. So he came and got me, and in the end, that nothing really came out of it. Yeah, nothing really came out of it, but still, it was a lot to deal with, and I thought, this, I will finally wake up and this will be it. But no, I mean, I wanted to stop smoking drugs so bad, and I tried everything. I went to drug treatment centers probably 20 times. At the time, there was a drug treatment center here called Teen Challenge, and then
Hmm.
there's Verdon House. I went to
Yes.
Verdon House and Teen Challenge, God, countless times, and I learned everything that the program had to teach me, you know, but I just didn't get it. I just didn't get it, because in that program, the program teaches you that, your life is unmanageable. Your first step, you got to admit that your life is unmanageable. Then, then the second step came to believe that a power grading yourself could restore your sanity, right? And then the third step is pretty much just turning your will and your care over to God as yours. And the thing and they say, the program tells you, without the third step you will go no further. And
Hmm.
I kept sticking. I couldn't get past the third step, because I was and the program teaches you that the third step is a higher power. And in
Yes.
that program, your higher power can be whatever you choose your higher power to be. But me, I was raised, before leaving Barbados. My grandfather's a pastor.
Hmm.
I was in church with him, 3, 4 times a week. So for me, I've always, even though I was lost, been connected to the Lord Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
So I I went on. Where was I? Sorry, where was I? Lost my train of thought.
You were saying that you every time you got to you went to Teen Challenge and you went to Burden House. Every
Yes,
time you got to the third
yes.
step, you
Yeah,
kept
every time
going
I got
back.
to the third step, I kept going back. And but I think I kept trying to be religious. People, when you're growing up in church, they teach you to go to church, and you raise your hands, and you do as the other people do, but there's no connection. So for me, I I got to that place where I was in Nelson Street. I was by St. Ambrose Church. Across from St. Ambrose Church is a community center, which is probably where Brown Skin had let you into.
Yes.
So if you remember, when you go into the community center, there's a big long step.
Yes.
For like the last year and a half of my life in drugs, I slept on that step with a dog. Yeah, and I probably weighed about
Wow.
I
But
was
you know,
probably
you studied, you went to, you were a chef in Canada. And what was you left Barbados to go to school, and what we didn't get, what did you go to study?
I left Barbados to go to my father.
Father, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and ended up studying and stuff, and ended up he left, and then he left and moved to Florida, and I stayed with my aunt and my older brother, who
Mm-hmm.
is in Toronto, and I was in Calgary. But yeah, so
Teen Challenge, and
Yeah,
Yeah, teen challenge, and you are at the third step,
yeah, yeah,
but you
yeah.
spent the last year and a half of your life
And,
sleeping on that step
and the
on
step of
Rose Church.
We're in Nelson Street, and I am walking up and down for like I think probably like the last 6 to 8 weeks before I stop smoking. I'm walking up and I'm like, God, I want to kill myself. I want to kill myself. And the only reason that I can't do it is because I know for a fact that it's not God's will. But I
Mm-hmm.
really want to kill myself because it is the hardest thing was the hardest thing for me to wake up every single day of my life, not wanting to smoke drugs, but something inside of me wouldn't allow me to not smoke. So no matter how I tried, I would do it. I would quit for a day. I would quit for two, and then I'm off again. And you know, I just kept asking God, Daddy, please help me, Daddy, help me out of this. I seen you do this for so many people. Help me get out of this, please. I can't do it. I can't do it. I really feel like killing myself. And I remember when I was talking to him, when I was like, Dad, you know what? When if you give me this, please allow me to stay right here in this neighborhood for a period of time, amounts the people and the drugs and stuff, so that I know I never ever have to use this stuff again. And I remember it was a Sunday. I, that Sunday was 13, 14, no, 14, almost 15 years ago. That it was a Sunday. I remember the Sunday because the next day would have been jump up Kadooment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, would have been crop over. And I, 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 I woke up on that same step by the community center, and I had $10 in my pocket. I probably weighed right now I'm almost 200 pounds. I probably weighed less than 150 pounds. And I woke up hungry as usual with $10 in my pocket, but I left where I was at because that drug dealer wasn't awake yet. So I went across to the other side of the neighborhood where the other drug dealer would be awake, and I spent the whole $10 on drugs, bought two of them. And
Even though you were hungry.
even though I was hungry, the drugs is more powerful than hunger. I bought two of them, and I walked over there, and I decided I'm gonna smoke one. There was I can't remember who was with me, but I remember I decided I was gonna smoke one, and because they had this little abandoned bath over there where people used to smoke, and I smoked one, and I blew the smoke out. And when I blew the smoke out, it was like there was just this feeling over me that came over me like you're okay, and I don't know where it came from. It was just this thing that just kept telling me I'm okay,
Hmm.
and I did not want to smoke the second drug, so I gave it away to the guy that was there, and I
Wow.
gave him the drug pipe, and I walked back over to the same spot where I got up from by the community center, and I sat there. I actually sat there with when I got back over there. I sat there with the drug dealer and his wife, and I just had this thing. This thing was just telling me you're okay. I didn't know how I was going to be okay. I didn't have a clue. I had no place to go, nobody to turn to. I didn't have any
Hmm.
shoes. I didn't have any shoes on my feet. The clothes that I had on for about a month. I had absolutely nothing. Nobody to ask for anything. But this thing just was just telling me you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And it was God just telling me you're okay. You're going to be okay. And I sat there, and the same guy that I used to get the drugs from, him and his wife, and he looked at me while I was sitting there, and he said he didn't have anyone to work for that night.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, do you want to give it a try? Which means obviously selling his stuff. I was broke, nothing to eat, nothing. So I said, sure, why not? I'll give it a try. And so I did. and he told me to work from, I think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening till 7 o'clock in the morning. No, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning when he comes out, and
Mm.
he gave me $60. I was like, this is people actually do this for 60 bucks. You know, you sit out here on this block for that many hours, and then you give them $60. I mean, I was, but I thought, okay, I have nothing. I have nothing, and I have nobody to turn to. I didn't have anyone that I could go. I couldn't possibly go to my family again and tell them that, I'm okay. Help me.
Yes.
I couldn't possibly do that because they would look at me and laugh. Right? I had nothing. I had nobody. It was just literally it was just me and God. So I decided in the daytime I would take up a bucket and a chamois and I would wash cars. Yeah, and after a couple of days, the same drug dealer and his wife kind of saw that I was serious or I was making an effort, and they offered me to rent a room in the house where they used to have the girls and stuff that came in from overseas and stuff to work. So I rented that room for $150 a week. But then I realized a Muslim friend of mine came up to me, and he gave me a tray, right? Because in town back then there was a shop called Glen Wortman shop in that area. And Glen Wortman shop used to be the shop for the area. But Glen Wortman used to shut at a certain time every evening. But the guys in the neighborhood would be up all night, at least 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And I got to be up all night anyways. So I thought he gave me this tray, and I thought back then everybody wanted to buy this a little snap of rum, cigarettes, a cigarette, or snacks or something. So I went and bought those things with the $60,
Mm-hmm.
and I put them in the tray. And the first night, the $60 brought me, I think it was about $250 off of the tray. And every night, I kept making money off of this tray. And then I decided that I could go to a bank and I could get a bank account
Hmm.
off of this tray. So I started to put a little money in the bank, so yeah, that's how I started. I started with washing cars, this tray, and $60 a day. That's how I got started to get a roof over my head and started to move in my life. And one day I was there, and a friend of mine who is from a wealthy family here in Barbados, right? Who's also a drug addict. He came to me, right? And I think I was in this house by the drug dealer probably about 4 or 5 months, right? And remember, I didn't think about it then, but after I left, I thought about it. I had prayed and I'd asked God to allow me to stay in this area for a period of time, so I know I never have to smoke drugs again.
Right. And you were renting from the drug dealer and not using it.
I was renting from a drug dealer. I had drugs with me every day for that 5 months and never used them. And then one day, this guy came up to me. I just woken up. I came out of the house, and there's a little lane by the house, and he turns the corner and he stops me and he looks at me and he said, "Clive, how you doing?" I said, "I'm good." He said, "I got something to tell you." He said, "God will not always tend with you if you continue to do what you're doing." And he wasn't a Christian. Today, he still isn't a Christian. And when I heard those words come out of his mouth, I I literally knew it was time for me to move on.
Mm-hmm.
I literally knew it was time. There was just something inside of me that said, you know what, it's time for you to move on. And then that's by this, I was already in touch with Steve Skeet at Street Gospel Ministries. Because
Yes.
Steve had houses that would help men. But Steve has said to me, because I had went to Steve before when I was in and out and never showed up or wasn't really serious. So Steve said to me, I think I was. It was probably. I probably went to Steve. I think it was probably about 3 months. 3 months in, right? So Steve had said to me, "If you want this, I'll tell you what. Meet me at the church, at First Baptist Church, because we used to clean First Baptist Church on Saturdays. So he said, meet me at the church on Saturday mornings, and we will talk. And that's what we did. And he had me do that for about 2 or 3 months. And then he gave me one more test. He said, okay, well, I'm not going to allow you to be in the house yet. I would like you to go and stay with this guy who was a friend of his for a little while. I went over there and I was still able to pay rent and that kind of stuff over there. And then he finally said, okay. So he let me in the house. And by this, I had stopped. I'd left the neighborhood. I was the same guy that came and gave me that message. I was working with his little brother for a little while. And then a friend of mine that was working on catamarans came to me and said, my boss is looking for guys to work catamarans, but I didn't know anything about catamarans. I could swim, but I'm not even a really strong swimmer. So I went down there to the guy and said, his name was Ronnie Williams, and I never forget him. And he said to me, "What do you know about catamarans?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Come back tomorrow." I went back tomorrow. He said, "Come back tomorrow." I went for about literally 8 or 9 days every morning, and he told me, "Come back tomorrow." And then the last day that I went, he looked at me and he said, because by the last day I was walking the first few days. By the last day that I went, I had a bicycle, and he said to me, "All right, put the bicycle inside the office there. I like you. Come, you can learn." And that was it. He taught me. He took me on the catamaran, and he taught me everything. He was even nice enough to send me to the yacht club to teach me how to understand sailing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and from there I met my wife, my now wife.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't meet. I knew her from before. We got together, and I just decided one day. Her and I were talking, and I knew that my future was not in catamarans. The food industry. I went on the West Coast and applied for a job, and they called me and told me I have the job, but then something inside of me said, if you go back to being a chef, you're going to smoke drugs again. So I decided, you know what? I called them back and said, no, I don't want the job. So I was always pretty good with my hands and everything. So I thought, okay, let me start a little maintenance thing, just going around helping people fix up whatever needs to be fixed up. And that's how the business that we have today started. You know,
And what's the name of that business?
CP Jordan's Construction.
CP?
CP Jordan's Construction.
CT Jordan Construction.
He as in Paul.
Paul,
Yeah.
okay, CP Jordan Construction. And
Yeah.
we know that my husband just sent me a message and said that you fixed the entrance of our school,
Yeah.
Praise Academy.
Yeah.
Your company, so CT Jordan. So you now have CP Jordan
Yeah.
Construction.
Yes.
And tell us about that business. We have another 5 minutes. Tell us about the business.
The business, we started off with me just doing a little maintenance here and there, and then I wanted to I saw a dump truck, a small dump truck that I wanted, and it was like $54,000. And my wife was like, "Honey, let's just go see if we can get a loan and buy the truck." I'm like, "No, honey, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money." But then she finally talked me into it. So I bought the truck, and then a few months later, God opened. No, I bought the truck, did a few jobs, got a job. Second job we got was for like I think $60,000, and I thought, okay, but out of $60,000, you don't keep a lot. A lot of it goes back into the job. But then opportunity came up for my wife and I to go and work in Can One. So I left the truck here with a driver and went to Can One. And while we were in Can One, I was there for a couple of years, and we did okay. By this, my children are back in my life. My youngest daughter is back in my life, and she's in Vancouver, and she's God had blessed me with enough finances now to be able to put my daughter through college, and it's like,
Oh,
and
wow.
I thought it was like the most amazing thing, right? Be able to help put her through college, and then we put my wife's son through university in England. I thought it was the most amazing thing. But in Can One, we were there, we were doing well, getting paid well. We were there as what I used to look at when I was using drugs, and I thought these people were such big up people, but I realized it's just a name. We were there as expats, and we got treated well and did well. But then my wife's mom and dad started to go down, and I thought, you know what, it's time to come back. It's time to come back. I'll start back up the business and take care of them. Yeah, because we didn't want to put them in a nursing home or anything like that, because I don't know what's going to happen to them in a nursing home. And
Yes.
for me, it's very difficult to watch elderly people that's given so much to to young people get
Mm-hmm.
old, and we treat them like garbage and cast them one side, and there's no love, and they die that way. I think that's
Yes.
horrible. So I came home after 2 years. My wife came home after 3 years. I started back up CP Jordan's. Um, while we were in Can One, we bought a piece of land while we were in Can One. I came back here, started back up the business, bought another house. We already own a house in Pine Gardens. So the property second house that we bought, I took that, broke it down, and turned it into four one-bedroom apartments. And
Wow.
then we're building four one-bedroom apartments to the front as well. So, God has been, he has been, I mean, for me, I remember from being homeless, having absolutely nothing, you know, to where God has taken me to today. And
Yes.
I know a lot of people, I think, might struggle with a relationship with God, but I think for me, mine came when I started to want a relationship with God, not just want to know about God, but wanting a relationship with Him, and because everything that I have been able to, what the world might say, achieve or whatever, it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
God placed this desire in my heart to do this thing, and because of that desire, I stood up and I walked. The house,
Yes.
the house that we bought, the second one that we bought, when we bought that, it was just really in my heart to buy it, and I took all the money, and it had to be bought cash, so I took all the money that we had, and gave to the people, and still owed them $50,000, and didn't know where the $50,000 was going to come from. I didn't have a clue where it was going to come from,
Wow.
but
But
God.
I'm seeing something behind you. It says grateful. Does it say that? The sign behind you?
Grateful, thankful, blessed.
Grateful, thank. From the time you came on, I saw that, and
Yeah,
really, that's your life.
yeah.
We have another 3 minutes, and maybe we could listen to you the whole night, but we have some other things to do
No, but
on the show. But you're here, and you're seeing what has happened, what's happening in Barbados with all the crime and our young men. Almost every week, there's a young man that is shot and killed. And what we're getting to understand, that it's a combination of, yes, the violence and the drugs. They're using Molly, the pills, with fentanyl, and all kinds of things. What do you want to say to young men in Barbados at this time?
we are all one people. I mean, we're killing each other for no reason. I used to be. I haven't been up to the prison for a while, but I used to before from we stopped at COVID, but I used to be in the prison at least once a week, dealing with guys that are on tried, which would be remand. And you know, when I get up there and I listen to the guys. The guy, no, there's nobody in jail that really wants to be there. There's nobody killing each other. For me, right? When I listen to these guys, I think it's all just about they believe in this respect thing and this disrespect thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's all a lie. It's all a lie. If the guys could just understand, I've told them when I go up there, they get caught up in the drugs and the gangs and all these kind of things. And I just try to explain to these youngsters, what you decide you're going to hang out with is what you're going to become. You if you want a different life, you got to choose different people. You cannot expect, I can't expect to want to not smoke drugs and hang out in a drug hole all day. It's not going to work. Right? So if you want something different in life, you have to make different choices. You have to choose different people to be amongst. If you want to be successful, you choose successful people to be amongst.
Yeah.
If you want to be away from the gang life, you choose, But one of the struggles that I often heard when I was in prison with the guys is because they've got charged, a lot of them with murder and whatnot. When they get out, it becomes an issue for them because now that they're out, their struggle is the people or the family of the people that they went in there for. Even if they want to change their lives, they can't do it because now they got to walk with a gun just to protect themselves because somebody's coming to look for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's one of the biggest challenges that I found with the guys when I was in the prison. Yes, there's always some form of retaliation once somebody does something. Right. But we got to figure we got it has to end somewhere.
It has to end somewhere. Now, in this last minute, what would you say, Clive, to those you spoke to the young men? What would you say to those in authority? You've been into the prisons, you've been homeless, you've been on drugs. How can they help these young men? If you were to speak with those in authority in this country, those who govern, what would you say to them?
I think that from prison and coming out of prison, there needs to be more that you can offer these guys coming out of prison, work wise, and give them options. Because it's very difficult for them when they're coming out. There's some of them that I remember that was in our classes that I see they're out today and they're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
They've been given opportunities and they've held on to it. A lot of them are doing well, right? But if the government could, there's a lot of work out there. Have companies, some companies that they invest in or just give work to. That is geared towards just helping these young people. Give construction company, a small business, whatever, an opportunity, right, to do government work or something where they can then employ these guys and help guide them as they come out of the system. They have something to look forward to. They got an opportunity, because as it stands right now, they come out and all they have is what they went into.
What they went into. So we need to have
worse. It's even worse when they get out.
Yes.
Because now you've gone in there and you've seen that you can now do a little time. So you come up with the attitude that I can go back there's nothing. I can go back if I have to. Right? That's the attitude that they're going to come out with. That most of them come out with. Yeah. But we got to be sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Clive.
I'm just saying we got to be able to offer them something else. It's good to keep talking about what they're doing. And I think for me, I realize this generation that we're at now, the teenagers in the 20s, and okay, it's a big struggle. But I think the times when God was in the church from young, because even when I went astray, right, there was that inside of me wanting something that I already knew.
Pause right there, because that's what I was saying to everybody, that a lot of us, we grew up on a certain thing. We would go to Sunday school, But then no, we have our children and we don't want to pray with them. We don't want to send them to Sunday school. But did you hear what he said? Parents who are listening, grandparents, that his upbringing as a child is what he relied on to get him off the streets, because he remembered, right, Clive? You remembered what your experience was
Yep.
when you were a child. So you see that the Sunday school is good. Go
It is.
ahead.
It is. But my one place of hope was that little gray church that my grandfather preached in. That kept coming to me no matter what. And I look at even America, which we followed by taking church readings and stuff out of schools. That's who we followed, right?
Mhm.
But now I'm looking at America and I see there's one state where the governor has declared that every school child must have Bible reading every morning,
Yes.
because he has realized that all that's going on in society is lack of foundation in God.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all that it is. We're chasing money that never lasts. Doesn't matter,
Yes.
doesn't matter how much you got. It doesn't matter. I watch billionaires die every day and leave
Mhm.
behind. And that's what these youngsters are chasing. They're chasing this image that the American rappers and the Jamaican whatever they call dance hallers or whatever they are, right, are putting out there for them, but they're not understanding that we are living in a society that is we're so blessed in Barbados.
Mhm.
Why would you want to take your land and turn it into sorry, turn it into a land that everybody's running from? Jamaicans are running from Jamaica because of the violence. Yeah.
Correct.
Why do you want to take the paradise that you're living in
Thank
to
you, Clive.
then turn it into a place where they're running from there to here, and we're trying to be like them? What sense does that make?
Doesn't make any
Doesn't
sense.
make any
Doesn't
sense.
make any sense. Well, Clive, I'm hoping that because people are just inspired by you tonight, and I'm hoping that those in authority, that they're listening and they're hearing what Clive is saying. It's important. If you listen, you will hear the important points in the story and how his life turned and how he changed and how he remembered what he was taught as a child. He understand what is good from evil. A lot of these children, you see them fighting at school, and the way they're behaving. The foundations are not
Oh,
as strong as they
yep,
were in our time,
yep,
right?
yep.
So you see, all of this is important. But Clive, I want to thank you so very much for coming on tonight and sharing, being so vulnerable with us, really. And because you don't get this a lot, we don't get this a lot in Barbados. People think that people are going to, a stigma is going to be on you, those kinds of things. But look at you, you're doing so well, and your company CP Jordan is a construction company that you learned how to do construction, and you and your wife build it up from the top, bottom from the bottom to the top. And I want to congratulate you on that and to thank you for sharing your story with us
Thank you
tonight.
guys for having me and listening to me. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. God bless you.
God
God
bless you
bless
guys
you.
as well.
Yes, say hello to your wife too.
I shall.
Yes, thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Wow, wasn't that inspirational? And I needed to tell you that Clive is going to be with us on the truck, and because we're going exactly where he was, because that's where I knew about him, right there with brown skin, and so Clive, he's agreed to be on the truck and to speak to the young man and to speak about his story right there in Nelson Street. So you've got to come out. Isn't that inspirational? Really, really powerful. Yes, he's going to be there with us on Sunday. Yes, 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 yes. You see, someone says here, Bajans, form your own community councils and guide your young people. Don't depend on the government, because I believe in that. If they come through, they come through, but don't sit and wait on them. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Very inspiring. I think people are really touched by this story tonight. And don't give up on your children, and keep praying over them, and give them that foundation, so that when they're not with you, they have something to lean on. They know what is right, they know what is wrong, they understand honesty, all of these different things, right? Yes, yes, yes. Well, guys, I'm going to ask you to come in, and to I want to hear your thoughts tonight. What you've heard so far on the show. We started off with the mother who lost her two sons, and we talked a little bit about the press conference, that you were there waiting to hear something great from the press conference. And for a lot of people, they didn't believe that they heard anything. In fact, there is a little, David should see it, and there's a little poster where it says that you ask all the different things that were not addressed at the press conference. But I reminded us that we are not going to sit down and get disappointed by our leaders, right? We're not going to sit down and get disappointed by our leaders. We're going to get up and we're going to do for our community, for our people. And that's why we're going out there. We're going into Nelson Street. How many of you, when was the last time you walked through Nelson Street? Some of us, we drive through Nelson Street. But have you walked through Nelson Street? Have you walked through have you walked through Wellington Street? Huh? Let's go there in those communities. Yes, there's another Clive there, There's another Clive there. There's another Clive right there in Wellington Street, in Nelson Street. Yes? Yeah? There is another Clive. Let's go. And let's show love, and let's be there. And you would hear Clive's story. There were different people on the way. There was that young man who was not he was still living the kind of life Clive was living, but then he told Clive, God is not pleased with what he was doing. And then that's one person who came to Nelson Street and spoke to him. He even had the drug dealers themselves who recognized something special about him and rented him a room. There were people along the way. So yes, he prayed to God, but guess what? It was the people that helped him. God used the people because God is in us, So sometimes we're there looking up and expecting this thing to happen from above, and it is supposed to happen through us, right? And then he met up with Steve Skeet, another person, and Steve Skeet provided him with somewhere to live, and then he was, and just people, God in people, God in people. And so we, all of us, when we come together on Sunday, God in us, and we're walking through Nelson Street. You understand how powerful that is? Because there are other Clives there. There are other Clives there. I'm so sorry Grateful Code did not make it on tonight. I was telling him to still come on once his I don't know if Dave can give him a call for me. Once his phone is charged, that he could still come up. But this is so powerful. While you are getting ready to call, I want to hear your comments as you call. Tonight, I want you to listen to Grateful Code and his song. Go ahead, Dave. I think Dave had a challenge there. Okay.
Girl, depending upon you naughty. Worry less about material, improve our potential. All we can be. The future is ours, children. The future is ours, children. The future is ours. Tell them stop all the fight.
Grateful. Cool. From magic potion to poison, I get caught up and made the wrong choices in my life, influenced by voices telling me things I should have avoided. And all this time, wouldn't believe I was a junior monarch, not once but 2 times not a win. Somehow I get my life to flip upside down. I don't know, had me whole family panicking. Bad and them can't tell me a thing. Constantly bringing shame on me name. Well, past life is what I see and wanted. Now looking back is so much I took for granted. Past life is what I see and wanted. Not knowing that by the law, shortly I get confronted for my actions. All this feeling was just a waste of time. It's so much I miss. It's so much I miss. Had me locked away for some days and nights. It's so much I miss. It's so much I miss. I had to build some patience. Stay strong just to find a better way out. I had to build some patience. Some people might find it strange, but I know anybody can change. From stage to the streets, find myself hustling to the week, just to make ends meet. QP on the seat. Have me think I need talking neat, and I feel complete. But somehow it feel like you couldn't hold me back, like when I try run off the track. Young and I reckless and I don't follow the rules. Badness I pray and only that. Enough with the bullet in me back. Just tell me straight to jail I must go. Well, past life is what I see and wanted. Now looking back is so much I took for granted. Past life is what I see and wanted. Not knowing that by the law, shortly I get confronted for my actions. All this feeling was just a waste of time. It's so much I miss. It's so much I miss. Had me locked away for some days and nights. It's so much I miss. It's so much I miss. I had to build some patience. Stay strong just to find a better way out. I had to build some patience. Some people might find it strange, but I know anybody can change. At the end of every dark tunnel is light.
Oh man, listen, that's a real life story there. I remember seeing him, and he was a young man, and those scenes that he had in the first part of the video, that's when he was a child singing at Junior Monarch, and then made some bad choices and went to prison out, and he's no longer Coco, he's Grateful Co. I remember the other gentleman had a Grateful in the background, Clive. Well, this is now Grateful Co. And we want to support them when they come out. And listen, it's not easy. So we have, as you heard Clive was saying, so we want to support them, speak positively of them, and look for the best for them. Okay, it's very, very important. But I have on the line here someone. He's 86 years old. You would never believe. His name is Victor Young, and he's 86. And he called me yesterday because he's a big track star. He is one of those that take part in the competition for for the older people. I can't remember what they call it, but he will tell us all about it. So let me welcome to the Marcia Week Show, Mr. Victor Young. Good. Yes, good night, sir.
Good night.
Yes, good night. Now,
Yes.
I'm telling the people your business that you're 86 years young.
Yeah, but I just want you to close out the word old.
Okay.
There's no oldness when it comes to Victor Young. He's senior.
You're senior. Okay.
Yeah,
So he is 86 years young.
that's right.
Victor Young is 86 years young. You hear how strong he sounds? So can you tell the people, you said to me that you are very, very concerned about what was happening in this country at this moment. What are your thoughts about all the gun violence that you see happening around you, Mr. Young?
Well, I don't get so concerned in what I'm seeing happen as far as the gun violence is concerned, because we're not really serious about what we're seeing. We talk with our mouths, but action is important. So I don't really get concerned. I keep away very far from around any crowds. I don't get into crowds and that kind of thing. And, I'm not the person who goes fetting or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The most time I'm out is when the senior games is on, because I would train and compete at the senior games. But my main concern is how the seniors are being treated as senior athletes. We started these games in 2002,
Mm-hmm.
and under Hamilton Lassie, who understand that when I talked to him, that we had guys out there who were former athletes, but when you were age 40 and up, there was nothing for you to do, although some of us were still in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
So he got the idea from me, and he had the foreman as the senior athletes, with also Miss Newton, who were concerned in aging.
Yes.
Okay? And we formed that. And the first time we competed here, and someone saw us in the Huntsville World Senior Games and invited a team to come to Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Utah, 2005, and I put and Walter athletes put Barbados on the map.
Mm.
And from then, we were going to Utah every year because you cannot qualify in Barbados. Although you have the senior games in Barbados,
Yes.
to run at the top level, you must go to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
So what was happening during that period of time is that we were going to Utah every year under Steve Blackett when they took over. We were going every year to Utah to compete in Utah to qualify for the Senior Olympics and all the outside games out of Barbados, because Barbados cannot qualify you although you run at the senior there.
Yes.
They don't have that knowledge. So after, in 2018, when the other people took over, they tried to give the impression that they would do better.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing better. They had excuses that so much money was being spent on old people and that kind of thing. But in the early days, the particular leader of the country, like Oinasa,
Mm-hmm.
David Thompson, and Prime Minister Stewart,
Mm-hmm.
they were having an interest in the seniors. And Mr. Stewart kept a welcome party for the seniors who came in here and competed. I was at the welcome party at the law court.
Okay.
He kept that at the law court because he realized the importance of senior athletes.
Mm.
And over the world, you name it, New Jersey, all over the states, wherever you can think about, Canada, Germany, all those people recognize their senior athletes to very high standards.
Mm-hmm.
But here in Barbados, we do not, because the present leader never, even when she was in opposition, or no, of course, she has never yet congratulated senior athletes. I've never heard her say anything about senior athletes.
Mm. And so you were going to Utah all of these years under both Owen Arthur, all the different parties when
I
you were in power.
represented Barbados 8 times in Utah. My last outing in Utah
Mm-hmm.
was in 2013 and in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, the particular minister, who was a female, who took over then as a female, she come on the program, which I was on the program at some time, how she was going to support these seniors, and she was coming out with her ministers and that kind of thing. And the young minister, Humphrey, he's talked a lot too, but they didn't have any idea. As a matter of fact, the 2 games that were held under them, which was in 2023 and 2024, which I was not here to compete in 2023 because I went over to New Jersey to my daughter's graduation, who graduated as a neurologist.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back here, the guy from Trinidad took the age group. So I decided I would take over that age group when I compete. So I competed in 2024, which the guy from Trinidad, he didn't come back. I don't know. He heard he was competing and he didn't come back. Because when they hear me, a lot of them get afraid, right?
Mm.
So I am now the 85 to 89 age group champion.
89.
But I should have
Mm-hmm.
been, if they had picked the team, we would have been going in October. But what they did, them allow the athletes who really want to go and compete at a higher standard, they have to take the money out of their late pension and pay their way to go. So you would see sometimes, you would see about 20 something of them going to Utah saying this is a Barbados team. But all of them who are going to Utah and to any other competition outside the Barbados, they have to pay their way.
So hold a minute. So let's clarify, because here it is. You have people like Easy D that somehow believes that nothing happened under David Thompson and Stewart.
No, I said,
No,
David
not you, not you. I'm talking about a viewer here saying that it was horrible, nothing was done. But the gentleman, Mr. Victor Young, is actually saying, Easy D, if you would listen, because that's part of the problem. What he's saying is that Owen Arthur, Thompson, Stewart, they made allowances and made provisions so the seniors to be able to have their senior citizens games and to go to Utah to compete. This government, he's saying, has not put anything in place.
As far as that's concerned.
Continue.
This particular administration has done nothing. The CEO from Huntsman were teamed up to try to talk to both for the 2 ministers. We're going to talk to the female minister to get cold shoulders. We're going to talk to this next minister to get cold shoulders. He came down here in 2024 to watch the games here, and he spoke at the games. So anybody who was trying to criticize that has no knowledge, and they don't have no understanding about the senior games. So a lot of people in Barbados who are jealous of the seniors because they can't do what the seniors are doing. And when they look at the seniors, they don't see them being pregnant. They see them slim and trim. So it's a grudge there also.
Yes, but it's real. I mean, this is when you look at the population, we have a lot of people who are, a lot of elder, not just not elder, a lot of seniors are in Barbados, and it's amazing to know that, because when you called me yesterday, I was a little shocked. I thought that with all that you hear, the talk that you hear, I thought that they were taking care of the seniors. I wasn't aware that
Not
this is.
only that, they get up on phone, pretend talking a lot NCDs. They want to do this with NCDs. But if you're talking about NCDs, you would congratulate those people who are making a sacrifice. But what they're saying, that when you're age 60, 75, and 80, you should go and sit down in the lake garden with your arm for and jump around some plants and make the plants look better than you. And therefore, they believe that that is exercise, and that is not exercising. My wife go in the garden, but when she go in the garden, she go with a hoe, she go with a fork, and that kind of thing. So it means she fought. She's losing physical strength. But when you talk about singers, oh, they go home and they go in the garden. And what I realized that has been happening before. A lot of people, when you get to retirement, they will give you a clock and a big chair, long chair, and say you go home and watch the time clock go past because you're no more use. They never give you a voucher to go to a gym. So I've changed up all of that, and now you'll find people when they're going home, people will tell them what they're going to the gym. I call a lot of these workplaces to have gyms now to do exercising. Because when they look at me, it means that I'm a model for people.
Yes, but I mean, we should be, and Rose Corbin, she did a fantastic session on the show some time ago, and she was talking about the seniors and how we can't say because a person is a certain age that they can offer anything to the society.
Right, and I can tell you this: if anybody has done any research, because they do no research. If they have done any research, they would see that there are people in Utah who's 104, 105, who is still competing and running from the 400 up to the 1500, that kind of thing, but they do no research because they're not interested in that. They're talking, everything, I have nothing against young people, but everything they're talking, the young people. The young people also have to get experience.
Yes. So we're not. And so once again, those of you who are listening from the government, and some of you who, as I said before, you have decided that you're going to worship this leader. Listen to this senior. He's 86 years old. What you're going to tell him? That what he's experiencing is not so? Is that what we're going to say? That what he's experiencing is not so? Listen to what he's saying. That they.
And not only that, I can tell you this: I challenge all of them, all of the people who say they're coordinators. I challenge any of them to come and compete against me, and they cannot. Because when I look at all these people who tell you they're coordinators and they're this and they're that, they're busting with fat and the tummies. So you can't come and compete against me who's kind of 27-inch waist.
Yes. Listen, we have so much to know from our elders, and it's a disgrace, actually. It's a disgrace when we do not treat the elderly population or seniors in the way that we're supposed to treat them. In the African,
I can tell you
yes.
what they're really aiming to do, and I can tell you anything that you see is in progress or making any progress, they will put it down to get their name on it. Once they don't have the full leverage of it, they will destroy it and that kind of thing. But the point about this, they do not understand that it is not about them. They believe it is about them, it's not about them.
Yes.
It's about people who are showing people how you should behave. And then you have a majority of them come and talk on the radio. They talk about nutrition, but if you want some of these same people, and you watch the people like the Minister of Nutrition and Agriculture, what motivation you can put anybody?
Right.
You cannot put anything to even talk about people eating healthy. Because if you knew that, he will put himself in a position that he would be motivated. He cannot motivate anybody. I don't care what he tells you about eating, because if he's talking about eating, look at him. And people always, when you're talking, you have to be in a position that when people look at you, they would say, oh yes, he's talking and he walk the walk.
Yes.
You can't talk it and don't walk the walk. I mean, we're fooling ourselves. We're sticking up in the air and it's coming back in our face.
So,
You know,
so in other words,
I don't want to make myself abundantly clear.
yes.
I have no connection with no party, no politician, and I would never have any connection with any party.
Yes, yes.
That's not me.
So, you know, and that's what I liked in what you said. You said that, you know, because you know, here's David Bowen here saying that he can validate everything that Mr. Young is saying, having traveled with the team on 11 previous occasions. And so this would be under all different types of administration, except this one. Except this one.
This particular one got the belief that you are spending so much money on senior athletes. And I can tell you this, when you go, they don't spend any money on you. When you go there with a matter of fact, all they do, they get a certain amount for seniors to compete here in Barbados. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The seniors doesn't get anything. All of my 8 outfits, because I change the outfit to every race I run.
Mm-hmm.
That is out of my own money. My shoes is my own money for the running top shoes, which is 80, and my body suits. I mean, they don't give me those things, and I don't look for them to give me those things, because when you're top, you come out looking top. As a top,
Yes.
when you come out looking apart. That's how I come out.
Mr. Young, I want to meet you. I need to meet you, Mr. Young, man. You have me here cracking up.
No, if you go on all the videos, or you're going to the senior games, you can go into
Dave.
the senior games. You will see me in bodysuits and that kind of thing competing, and you
Wow.
will see me competing off the block.
Wow. Listen. This year in particular, these athletes had to pay their way, and I know Mr. Young, out of you know, principle, says no. I'm not paying my way to go to represent a country. And let me tell you something, a lot of the swimmers have to pay their way. The coaches come on here and they talk about the athletes, so sometimes they have to put money into our athletes. We're taking all of these taxes, and we you know, we're lading down our people with taxes, but we're not taking care of our people.
And I must tell you this, and I must clear you on this. The lotto does not support us seniors. The lotto do not support the seniors. No money from the lotto goes to support the seniors who are traveling anywhere. I must make that very clear.
Yes. Well, let me just thank you, Mr. Victor Young, for coming on. And you called me yesterday, and I promised you, and I made it a note that I would, because this is very, very important, because we're all, unless we die early, we're all going to be a senior one day. And so we have to take, and it's part of the African culture, you know, that
anytime that you have anything you want to know about physical fitness or health, you're free to call me.
Yes. And you know what, Easy D, he did not, it wasn't a wheelchair. He's probably fitter than you are. Isn't that so, Easy D? He's probably way fitter than you are. Yeah, at 86 years old, and he's running. When last did you run? You know?
Horses want to feel me.
Yeah, no, it's somebody here, because they're supporting everything. They don't want you to anybody to criticize the government. And what we're saying is that this government.
The person that I'm not exposed. I have no connections to anybody. We got people in Barbados who will see things going wrong until they block the eyes, because they belong to an organization. I don't work for that.
Yeah.
I was a former fire officer, and when my chief realized that I was not pulling the legs because he was a member of a party, he wanted to think that he would, the problem is I, given my resignation, went off to the university and doing short now, I was one of the top insurance financial people in Barbados.
Yes.
So you can go back to any of the nation papers and look for Rick Young, you would see me there as a top person. Everything that I put my hand on, thank the Lord, I was successful because anything that I go into, I have to write like the palm of my hand. You know when you turn your hand in, you know that is the palm. So you always have to be a pack above the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my position coming up as a young man.
And look at you now.
Everything that I am doing, I must reverse in it.
Well, look at you now. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on and for making us aware of this particular thing that's happening among the seniors of our country. And we want to say to you, seriously, we apologize to you, sir, for this kind of treatment. You don't deserve this.
And not only that, if you understand, I'm a household name. I'm a household name.
Yes, because people are.
Everybody wants to know who is this Victor Broadback Young? Who is Victor Young the Charm? I mean, people would come on and that's rushing to see who is this man in the bodysuit and the headband and that kind of thing.
and I mean, they could make a whole tourism thing out of it. But thank you so much, Mr. Victor Young, for coming on. And we have 8 minutes. I'm hoping that I know there's somebody else who wants to call. So let me just thank you for calling and for enlightening us tonight. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. Yes. Bye-bye. All right. Okay. Wow. That was, I mean, this is what is happening in this country. And I tell you, you see this revolution that is going to happen and is happening in this country. It's going to happen through the seniors. It's 81 years old people, the 86, the 70 something, those that they are ill treating in this country, those elderly people, those seniors are going to get up and they're going to flip the table over. And they're going to be surprised because they've neglected that group of people. Because they don't go to fetes. And they're not into work up. They have neglected the seniors, neglected the elderly, take their pensions and have them working till they're what, 67. You see the seniors that you see come on to this show here? They are the ones. They're gonna turn this table over. They're gonna get up and the seniors are gonna turn it, gonna flip over this table in this country. You see, you saw in Kenya, you saw the Gen Zs, not the Gen Zs. What do you call these? What, the baby boomers? I don't know what you call these here, but you see the 60, 70, 80-year-old people in this country that know what Barbados was when they were young. They're going to flip it over and you're going to be shocked what happened in this country. I tell you. We have a caller on the line. Good night, Paul. I see that you're in your Paul. Good night. Good night. Your name came up. Good night. How are you?
Yes, good night. Tonight is a funny night.
Yes, it is. It is a funny night. You're right.
I can't help but to really listen to what is really happening. I really admire the mother though. She reminds me of the woman in the church and the book of Ruth that lost her son. And the gentleman that testified about the drug use.
Yes.
I know there's some who would understand what I'm saying from scripture says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Only some would understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the poem that I wrote today.
Because you saw that before you go into that, you watched the press conference yesterday.
Yes, I watched it today, and I'm very sad about it. Though, to tell you the truth. I'm very sad.
Why are you sad about it?
Uh, the the press did not get their just deserved when they ask questions, especially one that asked what can Barbadians expect. She was about to find out what Barbadians expect of this new commission that they have planned. And before she had a chance to actually explain herself, some of the reporters, um, the Prime Minister actually got in and tried to downplay what the whole program is all about, and started talking about what the AG has brought in legislation that to fight crime and such like. But yes, the AG has brought more legislation. But if you have brought more legislation and there's no a more increase in crime, what's the whole point? More
Mm-hmm.
legislation, more crime?
Mm-hmm.
Cut off the legislations and then maybe there will be less crime. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm actually sorry that I am not a part of the press team, because
Mm-hmm.
I have some questions to ask the Prime Minister. I believe that the press will be avoiding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I saw that you wrote
That the,
something. And what can you read what you wrote and what motivated you to write that? We're a couple minutes before we close.
mm-hmm. Pardon me?
I said you wrote. I saw that you wrote something on Facebook,
Yes,
and
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, and yes, can you read that for us?
Okay, sure. Them versus we. Them want a good reason to tint their vehicles and let out we. Them know their own pension age. Guess whose pension age they raise? We. Them immune from slander, but looking to lock up we. Them think $100,000 fine and or 10 years is only for we. Them want freedom to express their opinions, feelings, and thoughts, but not we. Them don't want to get locked up for thieving, but want to lock up we. Them don't want accountability and transparency only from we. Them think they're getting another X, not from we. Listening to the program tonight, I had a had on just a couple more. Them don't want to investigate the courthouses they had for we. Them ain't interested in prosecuting nobody. They just want money from
We.
we.
Oh wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a good one. It's a good one. And then getting the X from we. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And you, as you listen to the press conference, you were motivated to do that. Are you going to be at the Solemn Walk on Sunday?
God willing, I'll be there.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for calling. Thank you.
Blessings on you.
Yes, thank you. Well, guys, oh my goodness, let me just say that tonight was different. Was it different? Was it different for you guys? Anybody experience anything different on the show tonight? Let me get some comments as we're closing. We have a minute. Anybody wants to type and tell me, did you like the show tonight? Was it different? It's it wasn't our normal kind of show. It wasn't our normal type of show. Anybody did you enjoy the show? Sandra Brewster is still saying like and share. Yes. We remember we had the mother on who lost her two sons to gun violence. Remember? That's a real story. And we also had Clive on, who was in drug addiction, crack cocaine for over 20 years, 19 to 20 years. Yes. Okay, I think there's a call coming in. Yeah, so let me, what are your, yes, somebody said it was more energy. Yes, and we chatted a little bit about those red shirts. Good night, ma'am.
Good night, ma'am. Good night. Good night.
Yes.
I have had a troubling, very troubling thought. So I just want to know if I am troubling myself unnecessarily. So I have a couple of questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
How long was this present administration in government?
As far as I know, it's about 6 years that they've been in.
Okay. What is the age range that is being given for the young persons that are engaging in gun crime?
Mm. I am not. It's still. It's sometimes. I think it could be anywhere from what I'm seeing, anywhere from about say what 17 to what 40.
Right, but the majority of persons, from what I heard on the radio, is 16 to 21.
16 to 21. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these 16 to 21-year-olds all graduated from secondary school within the last 6 years.
Mm.
So my question is, what was happening at the secondary school for the last 6 years?
Mm. So you're thinking there's a connection with what was happening in education, what was happening in the schools, with what we're seeing happening on the streets today?
The evidence is clear. They are the ones who gave the report concerning the age range of those who are most involved in gun violence. Either shooting or being killed.
Mm.
And within the last 6 years, they graduated from secondary school. The same time period that this government was in power.
Mm.
So what was being taught them, what was being influenced by them, who I don't know.
Mm. Mm.
So that's my trouble, and that's where I am having a trouble of heart right now.
Yes.
Trying to come to grips with that and really coming up with a proper answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. It's a very it's a lot, I think you might be onto something there because a lot of the when they leave school there's not much for them to do, and a lot of them have left school not being able to read, so that might be, you might be onto something there.
And some sort of influence went on during that time period for with them at school as well. Some sort, I know that had the IABD tests, I know that had COVID, and a whole bunch of other things went on, but I don't know. That is the question.
Yeah.
Those are the facts.
Well, someone is saying that we're onto something. It's something for us to think about. Let's think about it. Well, thank you so much, caller, for calling.
You're welcome.
Are you going to be at the Solemn walk?
Most definitely.
All right. So see you there. Wear your white and bring some non-perishable food items.
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, folks, I tell you tonight, and as the caller said, it's something to think about. What has happened really over the last 6 years to this country? What has happened to Barbados in the last 6 years? Something to really, really, really think about. Yeah, quite interesting there. Let me just thank everybody for sticking with me tonight. Mr. Franklin, I told you, called me today about 2 o'clock and said, Marcia, I'm not going to be able to make it on tonight. And so, and then we had our all the people to share their stories. We didn't see Grateful Co tonight, even though I told you he was coming on tonight. But I think that those who were on, we got a lot done. And we were still able to comment a little bit about the press conference, etc. We'll do some more of that on Sunday. I am. We're going to have Nigel. More than likely, is going to be on Sunday with us again. But we wanted to do the testimonials tonight. Is what I wanted to use tonight to really inspire people. Right, and I see that you were all inspired. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for joining, and we will see you on Sunday at 3 p.m. outside Freedom Park, Nelson Street to Wellington Street, a solemn walk. Bring non-perishable food items. Wear white, okay? We're going to be out there, all right? Thank you all so very much. God bless you. Thank you, Dave. And once again, everybody who came on. Last thing, remember to bring some donation. There is a reminder that there's somebody who needs a fridge, and they need a stove, right? The little boy just did chemotherapy and he needs shoes for school. He's 14 years old. You can message me 236-7000. If you have any of those things and you want to be a blessing to this family, please reach out to me. For the walk that we're doing, it's 2,500 for it. Some people have given some money already. I think we are probably needing another 2,000 because of what we got today. And I want to thank those who have given, and I'm hoping that we would be able to cover everything on Sunday. All right. God bless you. Have a good night.
You can change, don't let them discourage you. Sometimes the system try to push you to the side. Tell me the group that decide this fate. Well, so much of things I have to say, but limited time I have today. Before they tell me to come off the stage, I am the living proof of change. Look how me life get rearranged. Little go, you know, not back in your face. Was about time I get myself in order. I had to man up, get serious and raise my daughter. Crunch time, look now I'm getting older. I don't see no obstacles that I can't get over. No. All this feeling was just a waste of time. It's so much I miss. It's so much I miss. I've been locked away for some days and nights. It's so much I miss. It's so much I miss. I had to build some patience. Stay strong just to find a better way out. I had to build some patience. Some people might find it strange, but I know anybody can change.